Okay, so good morning, students. So today we'll take up a new topic, that is elements of visual perception. Okay, and in elements of visual perception, I'll be taking up actually three topics. One is elements of visual perception, one is image sensing and acquisition, and then I'll take up a simple image formation model. Okay, so going on to first, basics of image processing. Guys, do you remember what is image processing? So what is image processing? Yes, when we say image processing, it means that it is some form of conversion method in which we take an image, right, and that image changes into some digital form. How? By performing some processes like mathematical operations on it. Okay, digital that is image processing. And digital image processing means uh, with mathematical operations there are some like we try to perform some we like we take like conversion, like image processing means conversion method using some mathematical operation, and digital image means we are using some digital systems. Okay, and then in image processing the final result is an image which is an enhanced image. Okay, where on we can extract some useful information from it. Okay, then going on to steps in image processing. Yes, so what we have to do in image processing, first we have to take an image. Yes, the image which we are interested in, we have to take that image. That is, first we have to import the image in the first step. Then after importing the image, we have to analyze and perform some manipulation on the image. Yes, there are some steps which has already been discussed. And third, we get an output which is an altered image. That is, the image, the report of the image is based on the image analysis, which is the second step. Okay, then elements of digital image processing. So guys, this is some form of revision class also. Okay, so can you remember the elements of digital image processing? What is a problem domain? Yes, what is a problem domain? Can you remember these terms, guys? We'll need this today. That's why I'm asking. Guys, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. So tell me, what is a problem domain? Do you remember the fundamental steps in image processing? We had one knowledge base, remember? Yes. So problem domain is a part of the knowledge base, okay? And then these are the elements of image processing. So what is a sensor? What is a sensor? क्या वह सब क्या क्या? Hmm?
Yeah, sensor is something that you can.
Okay. So what are the two elements or two basic elements which are required to acquire digital images? Remember, one is a sensor, one is a digitizer. Do you remember these two terms? Then what is sensor? What does the sensor do? The sensor is some form of physical device, okay, that is sensitive to some energy radiated by the object which we wish to image or use it as an image, right? That is sensor. And what is digitizer? Digitizer is the device which is used for converting the output of the physical sensing device into some digital form. Yes, so we had two elements. required to acquire digital images. That is, one is sensor and the other is digitizer. Yes. Then what is specialized image processing hardware? I don't think you people remember anything. You have to remember these things, guys. These are very basic concepts. Okay. So क्या था? Specialized image processing hardware में क्या था? See, there we consist of the digitizer, right? So we spoke on digitizer. Yes, plus some hardware. Yes, plus some hardware which performs some very primitive operations, like say arithmetic logical operations, which is performed by ALU. And ALU performs none other than arithmetic and logical operations in parallel on the entire images, right? Then what is computer? क्या हुआ, सब नम हो गए आज?
It is a device, ma'am,
हाँ,
which
yes.
we will perform all this specific.
Okay. Okay. ठीक है. So something you remember. So in image processing, what we are trying to say is computer in image processing is some general purpose computer which can range from PC to supercomputer. Remember? From a personal computer to a supercomputer, and supercomputer performs much faster than a normal PC. Yes. Then what is image processing software?
Ma'am, here we use software. There are two types where we use. One is well designed package,
Okay.
and two is sophisticated.
Yes, so you remember, right? Okay, so these are some specialized softwares which are used to perform some special tasks. Yes. Then what is mass storage capability? We had three types of mass storage capability, if you can remember.
Ma'am, short-term, online storage, archival storage.
Yes. So then what is this mass storage used for? Why do we use the mass storage?
To store the data when we perform operations on the image.
Yes. Okay, good. Then what is image displays?
Ma'am, it displays the image, final image.
Okay, and do you remember the types of image displays? Can you give me one example?
Like JPG,
Yes.
GIF, TIF.
Yes. So these are image formats. I'm asking about displays. What is display? That is your monitor screen? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then what is hard copy or hard copy devices?
Ma'am, the one which we can touch.
Yes. And why do we what is difference between hard copy and soft copy? Where do you find these two items? Hard copy means what? Suppose you want to take a printout of your soft copy. So that is the hard copy in simple terms. Yes. So soft copy is stored in your system, and hard copy is the final product which you get after taking a printout, right? Okay. Then finally, what is networking? In networking, we spoke on bandwidth, right? So networking means what? Why do we need networking here? Because of image transmission, right? So we need networking because of image transmission. Okay, so I hope you can remember these topics. If you don't remember also, just go through the concepts once again, okay? Because these things we'll need on again and again. Okay, then going on to elements of visual perception. So what is visual perception? What do you understand by the term visual perception? So what is visual perception? Perception means what? The ability to interpret the surrounding environment. How? By processing information that is contained in visible light, we can say that. Yes. So ability to perceive information from the surrounding environment is known as visual perception. Okay. So in visual perception, we talk of the field of digital image processing. Okay. And the field of digital image processing, it is built on the foundation of mathematical and probabilistic formulation. Okay. But human intuition, that is us, and analysis, it plays a very important role to make the selection between the various techniques that is available. Yes. And the choices or selection that we make, that is basically made on some subjective and visual judgments. Okay. So this is the concept of elements of visual perception, or the visual perception concept. Okay. So what happens in human visual perception? We have three main basic concepts. That is, first is the eye. The eyes, it acts as the sensor or the camera. Okay, so it is our eyes from where we perceive the information and directly goes to the brain. Okay, so always remember that. Then we have the neurons. So what does the neuron do? The neurons, they act as the connecting cable. Okay, see, from the eyes to the brain, some medium has to be there in between, right? So that is the neuron, and it is acting as the connecting cable in between the eyes and the brain. And finally, what does the brain do? The brain, it acts as the processor. That is, whatever information has been fed to the brain, it will process, and it will try to contact, like, these three are interconnected: the eyes, the neurons, and the brain. Okay, finally the brain will act as the main processor. Okay, then, so did you get these, guys? So did you get the basics of visual perception? So visual perception, it is some foundation of mathematical and probabilistic formulation. Okay, that it is talking about some human intuition which plays a very important role to select in between objects. That is, we see so many objects around us, like in the surrounding environment, so we try to perceive each and everything, right? But some it is visible and some is not visible. And it is talking about the human visual perception, which consists of three main things here. That is, eyes, the eyes, the neurons, and the brain. Yes. So eyes, it acts as the sensor or camera. The neurons will act as the connecting cable in between the brain and the eyes, and finally the brain will act as the processor. Okay. So then again we have some physical limitations of human vision. Okay, some physical limitations of human vision are there in terms of factors that are also used in the work of digital images. Okay, what it is doing here, so we are only interested in learning the physical limitations of the human vision. Okay, and in what form? In forms of some factors that will be used in the work of digital images. Okay, and so these factors will, that is say human, that is say electronic imaging, we have to compare in between these terms. Okay, and then we talk about basic elements of visual perception. Okay, so we have three basic elements of visual perception. So first we have to know what is the eye, how it is formed. That is, we have to overall know the structure of an eye. Then after that we have to know how an image is formed in the eye, and then finally brightness, adaptation, and discrimination in the eye. Okay, how the eye is able to perceive it. Okay, so now see here, you can see the structure of an eye. So these things you have already got it in your biology classes previously in schools, right? But still we have to know this because we are dealing with image processing. Okay, so starting basic element of visual perception is the eye. So we have to know the structure of an eye. Okay, so here what you can see is this is a basic structure of an eye. So the human eye, we can say, so this is a human eye. It is nearly a sphere. Okay, it is nearly a sphere with some average diameter of you can say 20 millimeters. Okay, 20 millimeters, and this is enclosed in within three membranes. Okay, three main membranes, that is, one is the cornea, the other is the sclera, and the third is the retina. So cornea, sclera, and retina. Okay, so what is this cornea? So this cornea is some tough and transparent tissue. This is some tough and transparent tissue. What it is doing, it is covering the anterior surface of the eye. Anterior surface means front portion of the eye. Okay, then the sclera. What is the sclera? So this sclera, this thing you can see it is covering. So the sclera is an opaque membrane which is enclosing the remainder of the eye globe. That is, cornea will disclose this anterior surface of the eye, and the sclera will this will enclose the whole eye globe. Okay, then is the choroid. So what is choroid? Okay, what this choroid will do, it will contain blood vessels. Why? It is the choroid is, it will supply nutrients to the eye. It supplies, its main job is to supply nutrients to the eye, and this choroid is heavily pigmented, stopping external light. Okay, and this is also again divided into ciliary body and the iris. Okay, so choroid is divided into ciliary body and the iris. So we have three membranes now, that is cornea, then sclera, and choroid, and this choroid is again divided into ciliary body and iris. Okay, then the center opening of iris. Okay, so this is the center opening. So this is known as the pupil. P-U-P-I-L, pupil. So this is pupil, and this is about 2 to 8 meters in diameter. Okay, 2 to 8 meters in diameter, and the front of this iris, it is filled with some visible pigments and in the back it is it contains of some black colored pigments. Okay, so these are some visible pigments and these are some black pigments in the back of the iris. Then going on to this lens, so this thing is called the lens. These are some layers of fibrous cells. Okay, and this is having 60 to 70% of water. Yes, 60 to 70% water, then 6% fat, and the rest is protein. That is 60% water, 60 to 70% water, 6% fat, and say remaining 23 to 20% it is protein. Okay, then this lens, it is slightly yellowish pigmented. Okay, this is slightly yellowish pigmented. Okay, then the retina. Retina is, it is rich with some cones and rods. It is not showing over here. It consists of some cones and some rods which are light receptors. Okay, it will perceive light from the surrounding environment. Okay, so what does the cone do? The cone, it is of 6 to 7 millions in count. It is primarily located in the center of the retina. Okay, it is primarily located somewhere in the center of the retina, and this is known as fovea. F-O-V-E-A. Okay, and these cones, these are responsible for photopic, that is bright light vision, colored vision. That is cones, what it will do, the cones will, one sec, the cones, actually the cones, these are responsible for lighter and darker atmosphere. Okay, lighter and darker atmosphere, in the sense actually the cones, these are more active during the daytime. That is, whatever images or whatever things you see during the daytime, the cones, they try to perceive that information. Definitely rods also do the same thing, but rods are more active during the night time. Okay, that is, the night vision is only possible because of the rods. Okay, so the cones and the rods. Okay, so these are two basics of retina. Then rods, talking about the rods also, it is situated, this is situated all over the retina. Okay, the cones, it is situated somewhere in between the retina, but the rods, it is distributed all over the retina. This is about 75 to 150 millions in count. Okay, and these are responsible for scotopic, that is dim light vision, that is at night. So scotopic and photopic. Okay, photopic is for day and scotopic is for night vision. Yes, then the individual cone is connected to some individual optic nerve and hence accounts for perception of finer details. Okay, because of these rods and cones only, we are able to say visualize a particular object very clearly. Okay, then groups of rods, this is connected to some optical nerves and hence it accounts for overall perception. Okay, so rods and cones, this is a very important part of the retina and overall eye formation. Okay, and then we have a blind spot in the eye. Okay, a blind spot. What is this blind spot? This is entirely deprived of light receptors, rods and cones. Okay, then we have visual perception, which is relative importance to each sense. That is, we have to know the relation of the importance of each sense in the brain. Are you guys there? Are you listening? Don't sleep, okay? So you can see here, this is the brain, and here there are some percentage of neurons in the brain which is devoted to each of this sense. Okay, so first is taste. So taste acquires 30% of the neurons in the brain. Okay, whatever you can taste, that is 30% of neurons, it is constituting the brain. Then is the touch. Touch is only 8%. Okay, then comes the hearing. Hearing is 2%. Then is the smell. Smell is, you can say, less than or equal to only 1%. And overall percentage, that is excluding these percentages, we have 60%. The rest is 60%, and 60% of the brain involved is with vision. The vision is acquiring 60% of the brain. Okay, in some way or the other. So see, vision is the other than these four senses, that is the fifth sense, the vision. This is a very important part of your, you say, the brain. Okay, so because vision is constituting almost, or say, 60% of the neurons. Yes, then we go on to human vision. So what is human vision? What is the term? What does the term human vision mean?
Seeing
Seeing.
something,
Yes, seeing
processing
something.
it.
Yes, and that is possible only because of your eyes, right? So when an object is observed by your eye, what it will do, it will first focus through the cornea and the lens onto the retina. Okay, first it will be absorbed through the cornea and the lens and then onto the retina. Okay, and what is this retina? We already know it is a multi-layered membrane which consists of millions of light sensitive cells, and it consists of the rods and cones, right? So these rods and cones, these are some image capturing receptors of the retina. Yes, then cones and rods, these are connected with fibers of optic nerve bundle through a series of some specialized cells. Okay, then in the brain, what does the optic nerves do? Optic means what? Optic nerves, these are related to your eyes, right? Because of these optic nerves only you are able to perceive. Yes, So in brain, the optic nerves from both the eyes join at the optic chiasma where the information from the retina is correlated. So basically what I'm trying to say is you have to know the eye formation, okay? Although you already know, but the terms we don't remember, right? We only know that we have an eye, we have two eyes, and we perceive things through the eyes, but you also have to know what these eyes consists of, okay? Then we have the visual information. So what is visual information? So this visual information is again processed through a lot more steps. That is, eventually it arrives at the visual cortex. Then it is located on the lower rear section of each half of the cerebrum. Cerebrum means we have, how many divisions of brain do we have, guys? Do you know that?
3.
What are there? What are these? One is cerebrum. The rest two?
Cerebellum,
Yes.
cerebellum, and I guess metaparation.
Okay, so need not remember everything. I'm just asking. Okay, we just have to remember three parts in the brain. One is cerebrum, one is cerebellum. The other I also forgot. Then we just have to remember that each half of cerebrum is also divided into two parts. Okay, so and each half of the cerebrum, and there some that it is connected with the visual cortex, which is you can say it is related with the visual information, that is it is connected with the visual information that is processed. Then we have the human eyes. So what does the human eye do? The human eye, it will take up some light waves. Yes, light waves or analog signals, whatever you can say. Why? For our visual cortex. And what does the visual cortex do? It is processing, it is used to process into some perception, and after perceiving only you can like visualize the shape or say the size of the object or some other properties of the image, okay? Then what happens? The light passes through the cornea and this is focused into the retina with the lens. Again, going back to retina. So then the retina, it controls the amount of light that enters the eye, okay? Then the rods and cones, these are used to process color in the light and dark, as you already know. That is, rods are responsible for processing images in a dark atmosphere. That is, rods are responsible for night vision, okay? Then the cones, these are prominent in daylight, okay? Then the optic nerve. So optic nerve will primarily route information to the cerebral cortex where the visual perception occurs. Then a particularly specialized component of the eye is the fovea centralis. Okay, this is some specialized component, and the optical axis of the eye in an area near, it is the area near the center of the retina. And then at the periphery of the retina, total number of both types of light receptor decreases substantially. Okay, so then so these are some of the you can say some of the properties of human vision. You don't have to know everything, at least five of them you should remember, okay? So these are some basic properties of human vision. So in exam you may get that define properties of human vision, then you can write all these, okay? And then also go through that image formation, that is go through the structure of the eye, okay? Then image formation in the eye. So next basic element of visual perception is image formation in the eye. So we have three basic elements in visual perception, right? First is the structure of the eye, then now second here, this is the image formation in the eye, and third is brightness adaptation and acquisition, that we will come on later on, okay? So here you can see an image, okay? Here you can see an image. So in this image, so previously what did we discuss? The radius of curvature of the anterior surface of the lens. Yes, lens of the eyes, okay? So what it tried to say, that the radius of curvature of the anterior surface of the lens, it is greater than the radius of the posterior surface. That is, the radius of curvature of the front portion of the lens of the eye, it is greater than the back portion of the radius of the lens of the eye, okay? So just remember that. Okay, that is, this portion, the radius of curvature of this front portion is greater than this back portion. Remember that. So the shape of the lens, this is controlled by tensions in the fibers of the ciliary body. Okay, that is passed through, we discussed. Then what happens, what I'm trying to say here is, see, this is the eye, this is the human eye, this is some object which is situated at some distance of say 100 meters. Okay, so what happens when the human eye, it focuses on an object which is farther away than about 3 meters, this is to about 100 meters. So when I'm talking about farthest away than 3 meters, so when an eye focuses on an object which is further from it in about 3 meters, the lens, it exhibits its lowest refractive power. That is, what I'm trying to say is, when an object is very far from the reach of the eye, then the refractive power of this lens, it lessens, that is, it decreases, and we have the lowest refractive power. But when this object, this is say it is in 100 meters away, suppose this is in 50 meters. Okay, suppose this object is in 50 meters distance, so what happens then, the eye will focus on the object and the lens will exhibit a less refractive, that is, this was the lowest refractive power. In 50 meters it will decrease. Okay, that means it will increase actually. And when the object is very near, say about 3 meters, then it will exhibit, that is, the lens of the eye will exhibit the highest refractive power. So in short, what I'm trying to say is, when an eye focuses on a nearer object, the lens is just most strongly refractive, and when it is farthest away, it is in the lowest, it is performing lowest refractive or refractive power. Okay, so, and this information, whatever information I just passed on, this information, it is used to calculate the size of the retinal image of the object. Okay, then, so this is the image, this is the eye, this is the image, this is 100 meters away. Okay, now you will see the main terms used in this image. Okay, so previous image itself I'm taking. So this is the lens of the eye, and what is h? This h is, okay, what is capital H? So capital H is the height of the image which is being captured by the human eye. That is, we are able to see this image which is 100 meters away with a height of 15 meters, but the actual height of the image is small h. Okay, so small h is the original height of the image, and capital H is the image which is perceived by the human eye. Okay, and d, what is d? So d, this is the distance between the lens, that is the eye, and the image, and this distance is 100 meters. Okay, and what is this focal length? So this is a focal length. Okay, so this focal length is the distance between the center of the lens and the retina. Okay, this is the center of the lens, this is the distance between the center of the lens and the retina, and this focal length, which we call, it is 17 millimeters. Okay, this is 17 millimeters. So now we have four variables here, that is small h. Small h is the original height of the image, then capital H is the image which is perceived by the human eye, then d is the distance in between the eye and the image, and f is the focal length between the, that is the distance between the center of the lens and the retina. And so we have the values also for capital H, capital D, and capital F. So what do we need now? We need the value for small h, that is, we have to calculate the original height of the image. So how do we calculate the original height of the image? We use this simple formula, that is small h equals to capital H by capital D into F. Okay, so capital H is the this is the height which is perceived by the user. Then capital D, this is the distance in between the lens, that is the eye and the image. And capital F, this is the focal length, that is distance between the center of the lens and the retina. So when you put these values in this formula, you get the original height of the image. Okay, so this was about image formation in the eye. So we have third basic element in the human eye, that is brightness, adaptation and acquisition. Okay, I'll take up this topic next time. It's a vast topic, so I'll stop it here for today. Okay, so guys, do you have any doubt regarding this class today?
No, ma'am.
No? Pakka?
Yeah.
So okay, so these are all biological terms which I described today. Okay, biological plus technical mix. Okay, but side by side you have to know everything, that is image formation, the structure of the eye, then the basic concepts like how the image has been formed, and finally image acquisition. Okay, that is image formation, how the image, that is the original image, how it has been formed, because the eye perceives a particular distance or say particular height of the image, but the actual height is different. Okay, so these were some of the basic concepts. So
Ma'am, diagram of eye and labeling এইবোৰ আহিব নেকি?
সেইটো actually নাহে আজিলৈকে অহা নাই, but কিয় আমি এইবোৰ ইউজ কৰো, মানে তোমাৰ ইমেজ একুইজিশ্যন, 3 বেসিক এলিমেন্টস আছে ভিজুৱেল পাৰচেপচনৰ। এটা হ'ল ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ, অফ দি আই, তাৰপিছত ইমেজ ফৰ্মেশ্যন ইন দ্য আই এণ্ড ব্ৰাইটনেছ এডাপ্টেশ্যন। চ' টু আণ্ডাৰষ্টেণ্ড দ্য ছেকেণ্ড কনচেপ্ট, that is image formation in the eye, the structure of the eye has been taken into count. Okay, so these things doesn't actually come in the exam, but yes, image formation will come from the second topic, image formation in the eye and the brightness adaptation. Okay, ketyaba ki hoy, in structure of eye we have so many terms related, so sometimes you may get fill in the blanks, maybe, or say true and false. So other than that you won't get a longer question than that. Okay, you won't get a longer question, you just get in short answer types. But these image formation and brightness adaptation, these are very important topics. Okay, so kun asa আজি? How many of you are present?
I'm 9 present.
9 present. Who all are absent today?
Rupam,
Oh, Rupam is absent. Then who else?
Lidemo,
Why? Actually, Demo is absent. Why is Safiko absent every time? Any idea?
Ma'am, he এৰিলে চাগে।
Oh, Safiko এৰিলে নেকি?
গ্ৰুপবোৰৰ লেফ্ট মাৰিছে, এৰিলে চাগে।
Oh, সি ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্টত কিন্তু কোৱা নাই একো। Anyway, ঠিক আছে, so Safikul, Rupam and the rest are present, right? এবাৰ কৈ দিয়াচোন আকৌ কোন কোন?
Momocha, Lidemo, and Rupam.
Okay, Momocha, Lidemo, Rupam, and Safikul. Acha, Safikul, I'm counting him also. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, we'll meet in the next class. That is, I think, on Monday. Okay. Okay, you can proceed to your next class. Okay. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.